this is Fred Wanko coming to you again from our studios in Chicago with another edition of Bold Talk on LNTV. Last week we all saw Peter Obi decide to step away from PDP and seek a new platform where he could take his campaign for 2023 to Nigerians. What many did not realize is that in doing what he did last week, Peter Obi started a non-violent revolution. Non-violent revolutions work when the parts are all working together. Before I get into my discussion on what Peter Obi did last week and how this could lead to a movement that can topple the powers that be, I'd like to share a video on non-violent revolution and how it ignited a chain reaction in the United States and other parts of the world. Just take time and watch this next video, then we'll continue after that.
Can peaceful protest really make a difference? Research shows that between 1900 and 2006, campaigns of nonviolent resistance were more than twice as effective as their violent counterparts. Even in oppressive, authoritarian conditions, protesters can tailor their campaigns to succeed. When large, nonviolent groups of people organize concentrated methods like protests, along with dispersed methods like boycotts or strikes, even the most brutal regimes have trouble stifling the resistance indefinitely. Meanwhile, movements that opt for violence often unleash terrible destruction to their communities, usually without achieving their goals. Because citizens can choose to either show up or sit out to support peaceful campaigns, nonviolence allows all kinds of people to participate in some form. Nonviolence is inclusive across gender, age, race, and class divides, so nonviolent campaigns have been on average 4 times larger than violent campaigns, and lead to a better representation of the people, rather than just those in power. This presents not only a potential numbers advantage, but also a tactical one. While violent uprisings are mostly made up of able-bodied young men, nonviolent campaigns often include women, professionals, religious figures, or civil servants, and reduce the risk of violent crackdowns from security forces. So no matter where you live or who you are, your voice can be heard through nonviolent civil disobedience. And ensuring that all voices are heard, no matter the cause, is the only way to guarantee a truly civil society.
Mr. Obi's move last week shocked the political landscape of Nigeria. There were a lot of questions about how much that was going to help him, and there was a lot of questions about whether that was the right move or not. My initial reaction was also that it's a bad move, that his best chance to become president or vice president of Nigeria is to run inside PDP where he was, and on the outside to run with the other major political party. But as time went on and I thought about it, I felt that considering his message is an anti-corruption message, and the process that PDP decided to implement for nominating who their candidate is going to be seemed flawed to him. He has the right to stay or to leave. What would have been wrong is for him to stay and lose out within that process and then start complaining and decide to leave. So what he did was the right thing there. What I disagree with, not with Mr. Obi, but with many of his followers is to start attacking the person of Atiku and calling him all kinds of names that I just think there's no place for that in the democracy we're trying to build. What we need to do is spend more time promoting what Mr. Obi stands for. Ignore what the other candidates are doing, whether it's the PDP candidate or the APC candidate or any other candidate. Let them run their campaigns. Focus on your candidate and then sell your candidate, not just to people who already bought him, but find a way to sell your candidate to people who are not convinced that his candidacy is the best thing for Nigeria, whether it's because of their prejudices, whether it's because of the political philosophies, whatever it may be. That's what politics is all about. What I am not going to promote is a Southeastern candidate. It's irrelevant to me what section Peter Obi comes from. What's relevant to me is that of all the candidates that are running in this election, not just throwing out sound bites that fit the moment, but historically, Mr. Obi is the candidate who has demonstrated to the masses of Nigerians, regardless of tribe, that he has what it takes to fix Nigeria's economy. He has what it takes to bridge the gap between Nigerians, and he has what it takes to work collaboratively with other segments of the country to see how we could go about restructuring Nigeria and also reviewing the Constitution. That's the main thing that is holding us hostage from moving forward. Now, by doing what he did last week and leaving PDP, he decided to blaze a new trail. That trail he has decided to blaze is a revolutionary trail. It's a groundbreaking trail in a way Nigeria has never seen it done before. The rhetoric is that nobody could win an election in Nigeria without being a member of the two major political parties. What people fail to understand is that while that may have been the truth in the past, by breaking away from PDP last week, a candidate as popular as Peter Obi, what he created was a groundswell. He shocked the polity, and while people are still digesting it, but there is also a groundswell that is building, and I know many of you have not noted, but there is a groundswell that is building, and it's a movement that is building. And there has never been a third candidate in Nigeria that was able to galvanize a movement. MKO Abiola was not a third candidate, but he galvanized a movement that actually radiated across the entire country. And by the time the election was done, people who thought he had no chance were shocked, not only that he had a chance, but he swept the country. Peter Obi has an opportunity to build a movement that will sweep Nigeria. Peter Obi has an opportunity to build a movement that will survive any bullets that shot at it, any guns that are pointed at it, and any financial empire that is thrown at it to bring it down. Because it's not a movement that money can buy. It's a movement of people who are sick and tired of what Nigeria has become and want to see change. Now, with that said, Peter Obi's first priorities as the candidate of the Labour Party of Nigeria is to distance himself from the sentiment that he is a Southeast candidate. That sound doesn't resonate with people from other parts of Nigeria. Call it prejudice, call it what you like, but it doesn't resonate. Progressive Nigerians and Nigeria's youth that are hungry for change are not looking for a Southeastern favorite to become president. It's irrelevant to them if Peter Obi is from the Southeast. Peter Obi has earned his stripes. The sooner and the quicker he dissociates himself from the concept of a Southeastern candidate and present himself as the candidate of the people, the candidate for change, the better he's gonna start building on that groundswell that he created. It's important for Nigerians to know that the next president of Nigeria is not coming into Aso Rock as a Southeastern president or a Northwestern president or a Southwestern president. That the next president of Nigeria is coming into Aso Rock as a Nigerian that is coming in there with the best interest of Nigerians, including Fulanis, including everybody. Because until you show, including the Fulanis who quote unquote the entire nation thinks is the bane of our problem, until you show them that I'm not coming in there to fight Fulanis, but I'm coming in there to fight the Fulanis that are destabilizing our country. I'm coming in there to fight the Igbos that are destabilizing our country. I'm coming in there to fight the Yorubas that are destabilizing our country. And you're not coming to fight them because you think they are destabilizing the country. You're coming there to fight them because you have found evidence that you could hold up in court what they are doing to destabilize your country, prosecute them, minimize them, whatever it takes to put them on the back burner while the progressive Nigerians move on. And there are progressive Fulanis in Nigeria, which brings me to the next point, which is the fact that, yes, my preferred candidate in this race is Peter Obi, but I don't see a villain in all the other candidates that are running. We need to de-emphasize this thing about calling other candidates names using rhetoric that's not complementary to unity building. Whoever becomes the next president, and if Peter Obi becomes the next president, he has to reach his hands across the Niger and across the Benue and across every place where he needs to go. And you're not going to do too well if by the rhetoric of his followers you burn bridges towards the people he needs to build bridges towards to have a successful 4 years in the process of rebuilding Nigeria. Nigeria belongs to all of us. All of us includes Fulanis, it includes Hausas, it includes Igbos, Yorubas, Edos, Efiks, Ibibios. Nigeria belongs to all of us. Along the line, some people within our populations, not just the Fulani population, all population within Nigeria, people within our populations have done things that are detrimental to unifying our country. So it's not about Fulanis, it's not about Yorubas, it's not about Igbos. It's about leaders in the past who have said things or done things that destabilize the country. but they have also done things along the line that may have benefited the country. So you don't kill somebody because of one aspect of the policies they had. You take that aspect of the policies that are not good, throw them away, never go back to them, but there may have been things they did that were right. We build on those things. We don't throw those things. You don't reinvent the wheel. There is a Nigerian wheel that is turning, and we need to rally around the Peter Obi wheel of the Nigerian wheel that is turning. But we need to sell Peter Obi to other people who may not have seen what we've seen in him. The youth started the EndSARS movement. It's incumbent on Peter Obi and his handlers to start yesterday, not today, to start putting out fillers, an invitation to that EndSARS movement group to join this movement, and not join it as followers, join it as partners with the same dream and the same vision that Peter Obi has, to move Nigeria to a place where Nigerians can sit back and hold hands with each other and say, united at last, thank God Almighty, as Nigerians were united at last. I don't believe in divisional politics. You may win the election playing your divisional politics, but you're going to run 4 years of fighting instead of building Nigeria. But when you run a clean election based on a message you have for fixing Nigeria, and stay away from calling your opponents names or your supporters calling your opponents names, you give yourself a chance to build justice, equity, and fairness. But more importantly, you give yourself a chance for your foes who are running against you to believe that you are really working towards justice, equity, and fairness, and that you are the kind of person they can work with and the kind of person they can trust. But when you have a following that keeps throwing stones at them and stones at them, when you win, they're going to come throwing those same stones back at you. And for people who are disappointed in the Southeast that some Igbos are supporting other candidates, why not? We can't put all our eggs in one basket. We know that a significant number of Igbos like Peter Obi's message. I hope they like his message because he has the right message for Nigeria. I hope they don't like his message because he's an Igbo man. And there is nothing wrong with another Igbo person deciding that he likes the message of a different candidate. There is no guarantee that our candidate is going to win. But I believe that if all of us put our heads together and work positively without antagonizing anybody, selling the message of our candidate as a candidate that can fairly represent Nigeria and blaze a new trail for Nigeria to move us forward and build a more united country where people can work together, we can speak with as many voices as we want to, as long as we respect the different voices that are speaking. We can't force our voices on other people. Because I'm an Igbo man, I don't have to agree with you that Peter Obi is the best candidate in this election. I happen to think he is. If you agree with me, we happen to agree on the same candidate. If you disagree with me, I don't see you as a villain for supporting a different candidate. This is my message. My hope is that Peter Obi's bold move last week to step away from PDP and blaze a different trail galvanizes the youth who have been hungering for something different. But we must remember that ours is a very tribalistic country, and all segments of our country have contributed in creating suspicions within other tribes that makes them not trust that we're going to be able to accommodate them when we are in charge. It's incumbent on us, people from the Southeast, and it's incumbent on the candidate that has emerged, Peter Obi, to take a message to the rest of the country. Yorubas, Edos, Ibibios, Efiks, Ijos, Urobos, Fulanis, Hausas, Thieves, Edomas, all of them, take the message to them that you have nothing to be scared of. We lived together before the war. The war has put a crack in the trust we used to have for each other. But 50 plus years after the war, it's time to come back together. And if you give this man a chance, you're going to see that he's not a candidate of the Igbos. He's a candidate of Nigeria, and he has the tools that it will take to build a Nigeria that all of us can be proud of. After all, what we're looking for is a progressive Nigeria. So once again, please share my video. You don't have to agree with me. I don't always have to agree with you, but let's be civil with each other. Let's come together and exchange ideas. Let's exchange ideas in a way that it would make our country a better place. And if Peter Obi can put together a non-violent, progressive movement, I strongly believe that he can not only become the next president elected by that movement, there's a good possibility that when the dust settles and everybody is back to their normal reasoning, that even some of his opponents are going to come around to work with him to build a Nigeria that we are looking for. Thank you very much for watching me. This is Fred Nwankwo again with an outside-the-box way of thinking. It's the only way I know. The only thing I'm interested in is a Nigeria that works for all of us. I really think Peter Obi can do that for us. And let's get together and get this 2023 ball rolling.